expected a different football game to what we saw here last Friday week, and we have got one. The Eels beaten 37-0 9 days ago to lead 12-8 at Toyota half-time over the Dragons, and the stats say that the Dragons should be well in front. All the football and all the field position to the home team. Tackle in opposition 22-5. The total tackles is significant, and the time in possession, well, it's actually improved for the Eels in the back half of that first half. Only 7 missed tackles for the Parramatta team. It has been backs against the wall stuff, and they've done a great job on the fact that they've defended their line so well, despite the fact that the Dragons have been, we've mentioned the word conservative a number of times. I think that best sums it up.
Yeah, well, I think they come with a plan, just get through their sets early. They didn't want to turn ball over, even if they got field position. They had a lot of field position early, and normally Parramatta would leak points, but it's a different Parramatta team than last week. Last week, 37 points, but this week they just defended their line stoutly, and then eventually got some ball and jagged a couple of tries.
Well, both coaches having plenty to say to their charges. There's Wayne Bennett there. They haven't trailed too many times at half-time throughout this season, but he's a very experienced man. He knows what needs to be done in this second 40 minutes. And our Bundy Red smooth moves will show 3 tries scored in the first half. An early penalty goal put the Dragons in front 2-0, but then in the 26th minute, Jared Hayne bomb. Great chase from Daniel Mortimer. He wanted the football more than anybody else. Got the ball back to Luke Burt, who converted his own try 6-2, and then Mortimer.
And the second try, Mortimer did it all on his own. Short side, showed and go, took the ball to the line. A beautiful try.
And the final points in the first half coming after a long break down the left side. Dean Young put Matt Cooper away. He found Brett Morris, beat a couple. And from the next play, Parramatta really struggled to get their defensive line back and set. Jamie South summed up the situation. Looked like he would probably score when he stepped inside Mortimer and outside Lowry, but he offloaded to Dan Hunt. That was converted to give us our 12-8 scoreline. Now, Parramatta haven't had a lot of football in this first half, but when they have, you've noticed what they're trying to do in their attack.
Well, when they get good ball, a lot of teams try to play around the Saints' defensive line, and you can't because they move too quick. You see Jeff Robson here, he plays short. And what this is, this shortens the defensive line up, gets Ben Cray and the half involved in the tackle, and then they double up the same way. You'll see Parramatta do this in the second half. Instead of trying to shift around them on the first shift, they'll play short and then double up and play short sides.
Okay, they're in front, Parramatta. They'll be very happy with what they've achieved. They need to go on with it. What is Wayne Bennett saying to his team? Do they have to change much? Are they being too patient, if you can be that?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I thought they were a little bit lateral in the first 20 minutes. When Nathan Fearn come on in dummy half and they were getting in a dummy half for close support, I think they worried the bigger Parramatta forwards. I like to see a bit more dummy half running from St George. But that's the way they play still. They like to get through their sets and grind out victories. Well,
TAB Sportsbet have reacted dramatically to this scoreline. It is now plus 2.5 Para for $1.90. The Dragons minus 2.5 for that $1.90. It was very different to that before kickoff. A wonderful fourth qualifying final here at Win Jubilee. The Parramatta Eels, against the odds, lead the Dragons, the minor premiers, 12 points to 8. We'll break and be back with what shapes as a very exciting second half on Nine's Rugby League.
Upwards of 30 degrees in Sydney today, and that's the case here at Cogra, Win Jubilee Oval. People bedecked in very much summer clothing. Quite incredible for September, more incredible being just the second week of September. And that's the traces of the Blue and Gold Army. Not many of them able to procure tickets for this one. St George Illawarra, as you probably would if you're the chief executive, hanging onto the home ground advantage, but Parramatta hanging onto the lead at the moment by 12 points to 8.
And as they head back out for the second half, in these conditions, you may have thought that there'd be a fair use of interchange. Well, both teams have only used 15 players in the first 40 minutes. For the home side, no Neville Costigan or Jason Nightingale to date. And for the Eels, Kevin Kingston and Feleni Mateo, yet to see any action.
They've led 9 times at half-time through the season. They've only lost 1 game when leading at half-time. And conversely, the Dragons have trailed 6 times and come back with 3 wins against the Warriors, the Roosters and the Storm.
And some more stats for you. During their unbeaten 7-game run as they surged towards the finals, the Parramatta Eels conceded only 32 second half points. Now that's less than 5 points per game. But for a month of that football, 4 weeks in a row, they conceded no second half points. So their defence in the second part of the game has been outstanding. And if they can repeat that here this afternoon, they're not going to have to score many to win with this 4-point lead. I pointed out just before half-time that the Dragons this year were down by 10 points on 5 occasions, failed to get out of trouble. They lost all 5 games. The Eels led by 10 points on 8 occasions this year and won all 8. So if the Dragons do win this, both teams have got a form reversal on their hands.
So there's the start of the second half. Time blown on by Jared Maxwell. The Dragons coming away from the southern end of the ground with Justin Paugh playing the ball in front of the uprights down at the school end of the ground. And this is Michael Wayman, his front row partner, taken down in a 3-man Parramatta tackle led by Tim Manor. Saylor takes number 3, and Lowry it is that makes the tackle. Just inside the 30-metre line then, comes through from Justin Paugh to Dan Hunt, who got the try for the Dragons 4 minutes before half-time. Suspect ball, Nathan Feen to Justin Paugh. No argument with it. It was certainly very flat. Now off the boot of Hornby. It's going down towards Luke Burt, who they kicked to pretty much exclusively last Friday week. They kicked away from Hayne, they kicked to Burt, and then they put their line defence around Luke Burt coming out of that northeastern corner. Played by Wright. Now for Hayne, and then real nonchalant sort of pass from him, as he sometimes can do, to Eric Groth. 7 or 8 metres short of halfway. Here's Joel Reddy. Ball going back to Keating, and Keating getting it away to Mortimer, then to Nullavau. Nullavau taken down by Beau Scott. Here's Hayne putting himself into the game, putting it back neatly to Mortimer. Mortimer to Wright, and Wright is taken by Soward. The ball goes to ground, and he's ordered knock on.
Jamie, whistle's blown, mate.
Well, it was a good decision from Parramatta to run down that way because Beau Scott had made the tackle and was at marker. So they kept the football going, and then Jamie Soward helps the football out of the arms of Jonathan Wright. He was a very athletic-looking customer.
12-8 the Eels after 42 minutes then. Scrum just outside the Dragons' 20-metre line. And Saylor, as he always does, brings the crowd to their feet. Play to Hornby, now for Cray. And Ben Cray, 38 metres out from his own line. Feen for Wayman, and Wayman for Paugh. And Justin will play the ball 5 metres on his own side of halfway. Feen then draws the marker and then gives it to Hornby. And now they're into Parramatta's area by 5 metres. As Soward drops it onto his left foot and drives it down in towards the corner. Burt is going to let it go. So we're going to have a scrum to restart 10 metres out from the Parramatta line.
Well, which way will this game go? They'll just spar here for a few moments, getting back into the action, and suddenly one team will break free and it will be up to the other to respond. Something tells me this is going to go down to the wire.
For the minor premiers, if they win, they get the week's rest, like Canterbury, before playing the winner of next Friday night's game between Brisbane and Manly. Blues, as I told you earlier, and they, and not Manly, will play Brisbane on Saturday night in Brisbane. Parramatta, if they win, will play the Titans next Friday night. On the 20-metre line, played by Joel Reddy. Nathan Hindmarsh, the ball across to Ben Smith it is. And that's gone on to Robson, and Robson turning it in for Manor. And his brother John did a milk run in the Condell Park area for some time as Hayne drops the ball. And Craig goes away with it, immediately putting the Dragons on the attack. Loose carry by Hayne. Here's Pryor to the 30-metre line.
And it was Justin Paugh who made Jared Hayne pay. Went low, and the ball came out in the tackle.
Now Parramatta to defend. Wayman. Michael Wayman, right on the 20-metre line. Centre of the ground, Fiend goes short side. Soward inside ball, Bo Scott the runner. Scott to play 10 metres away from the line. That's the third tackle. Fiend comes out, dummies twice and tries to go himself. But diving into the tackle. Parramatta's Joe Nallavau in 19 with Nathan Highmarsh. Now Hornby, back to the middle for Dan Hunt. Thinking about a second. 5 gone for the Dragons. Justin Poore losing the ball.
It's coming out of your goal line.
I don't understand that whole set of 6. I just don't get it. It was virtually all off the dummy half or turning the ball back inside from first receiver and just slogging away on the same blade of grass. They had options either side of the field and didn't spread the ball at all. Very, very unlike the Dragons.
Gross. Strong out towards 30. Keating, smart out of dummy half to the 40-metre line. He's put down and tackled by Justin Poore. And so Eric Groth goes in to take one up to halfway and beyond. Groth to play the ball and Parramatta fanned away to the left side of the ground. Kalis shoulders it up. 5 gone for the Eels as Robson calls the play. Right foot kick. Straight down to Saylor. There'll be no contest. And Saylor able to get away from 3 would-be Parramatta tacklers. It's all very well not to contest the kick, but you are entitled to make the tackle. Now, Darius Boyd out to the 30-metre line. Second tackle.
Well, they're spending a long time sharpening this axe, Rabbits.
Bo Scott.
They really haven't struck a blow, have they?
Nathan Fee. Dan Hunt looking for a hole up the middle. Played back again for Fiend to go short side. Soward. And at close attendance is Matt Pryor. Fiend dribbles it over the sideline.
Oh, gee. That just gives the opposition the football. They're behind on the scoreboard. I just don't see why you wouldn't kick high and maybe get a mistake from the opposition. Now, they've only been out there 7 minutes this second half. The players can't be looking, his teammates can't be looking for a break.
I don't get that kick at all. I don't know what the hell that was.
It's as though their playmaker has lost contact with his dummy half. I'm talking about Ben Hornby. This is Groth.
If this is tactics, it's the most patient performance I've ever seen in my life.
There's Jonathan Wright dancing up to the defence and they put him away. Hornby defending a couple in from the left side. This is Smith taking play the ball 31 metres out from his line. Robson inside ball. Manor strong beyond the 40-metre line. Played back for Kingston. Now for Kalis, and he comes to Fiend and takes the play just a couple of metres onto the Dragon side of halfway. 5 tackles again gone for the Eels for Hayne to kick. And this time he stabs it. And it goes down and bounces nicely for Saylor. Hayne leads the chase, cuts the big man down. Played by Wendell Saylor, back to Brett Morris. Oh, passing! And a race for the ball. It's a knock-on. Parramatta will get the loose end feed. 10 metres out from the line.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Put this down to Jared Hayne. The last time Wendell Saylor ran the ball back, he beat 3 or 4 defenders and charged outside the 20 to the plaudits of the crowd. Jared Hayne made it his mission to cut the big man down. Whammo, got him. And from the next play, the Parramatta Eels were able to put Morris under pressure. He inexplicably pops one out the back. And Boyd loses the ball. Advantage Eels. Coach getting excited, getting excited.